guys, it's Sam, and this is Top 5 Wednesday / a Booktube SFF Awards book babbles. If you're not familiar with Top 5 Wednesday, I will leave the Goodreads group down below for topics and such, as well as the topics for the Booktube SFF Awards book babbles. These are discussion topics around science fiction and fantasy works that we are having throughout the award season, so I will leave links for the Booktube SFF Awards and the read-alongs and the discussion topics down below as well. Nice crossover. Hitting lots of birds with lots of stones. So today we're talking about our favorite science fiction and fantasy creatures. So for this, I kind of steered clear of like the general kind of races like the Fae or vampires or something like that, and I'm trying to do more specific to certain books type creatures. Let's get into it. I think I've talked about some of my favorite fantasy and science fiction creatures before, so you probably won't be surprised by some of these on this list, but I like talking about them because actually the creatures are one of my favorite things about science fiction and fantasy. So if you have really cool mythology and creatures in the world that are very different, I really enjoy that. Something I really like. I don't talk about that enough, I don't think. And there's more than 5 on this list because it's a Booktube SFF Awards Book Battles crossover, so I'm allowed. Not that I haven't done this for Top 5 Wednesday topics before. So first I want to talk about the various creatures that are so far introduced in the Witchland series by Susan Dennard. So far, because I haven't read Blood Witch as of the filming of this video, but I'm about to be because I'm rereading Wind Witch right now, which is what reminded me, we have seen sea foxes as well as mountain bats, and they're both these like weird, just something I've never really seen before in fantasy creatures that are really cool and really interesting, and I just really like a lot of things about the world building in the series, but in particular these like these creatures aren't a giant part of the world, but they're big enough and they do affect things and they're woven into the lore really seamlessly, and I really enjoy them, and I hope we get even more creatures throughout the series. Then I've talked about this before, but this category kind of covers 2 works of media that I really enjoy. It's space zombies in general, so the space zombie plague zombies that are in the Expanse series by James S.A. Corey, but these also remind me of the Reapers a lot, and the husks and Reapers and all that whole thing. It gets me. They're my favorite, but also the creepiest science fiction creatures, and I highly enjoy them even though I'm terrified. In Mass Effect, the Banshees are the worst. Just so that everyone is like super clear. If I ever hear that like it haunts my dreams to this day. But I like them for being so creepy. It means they're well done. Then we have Ronan's dream creatures from The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. Ronan is a character who can pull things out of his dreams, so there's a lot of creatures that he sometimes purposefully and sometimes accidentally brings into this dimension, this world, and I really just like that whole premise, but also the fact that like these dream creatures are not quite the same as even their counterparts in our world, and all of that. So he even has like, there's like a nightmare at one point that he brings in that's like really creepy, so it's just cool because it's something, even though like it's not described super clearly, like everyone can picture, oh my god, what if my like dream nightmare came into being? Terrifying but cool, right? And these are in multiple books, but the Eastern European house spirits that are in a lot of the Eastern European folklore. So they are in this series, the Winter Night Trilogy by Catherine Arden. They're in Spinning Silver by Nomi Novik. They are in Deathless by Catherine Valente. And they're a thing. They're a part of Eastern European folklore and mythology, but there's little house spirits that are part of people's buildings and such, and people leave gifts and things to them, and they can cause like mischief and also protect people and all this stuff, and they're a very core part of that culture, and I find them so cool and so interesting. And especially in most of these books, it's like the weird spunky girl is the one that believes in them and still sees them and takes care of them, and then they like are like on her side. It's one of my favorites. I wish that there was like a little creature living under my hearth, which I don't have, that I could leave like crumbs for, and it would protect me. Who needs a security system, am I right? Next I want to talk about really any of the monsters in the Monsters series. This has so many different creatures because there's so many different races of people that are almost creature-like, and there are different like demons and things and monsters, and there's just so much in here that I can't even fully talk about. There's also like talking cats, and it's just wonderful in every way. But basically like every single creature slash character in here I could talk about as a favorite science fiction and fantasy creature. They're so cool. A lot of them are creepy too. There's a common theme here. Creepy and or cute. I haven't gotten to the cute yet. Cute's coming up. Next, the Chimera from the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series by Laini Taylor. This is the race of people that is going up against the angels, and I'm including them even though they're like humanoid, and a couple other of these are humanoid, but I'm including them because the descriptions of them is so cool, and the way that Laini Taylor describes them as being monstrous, but also them being the ones that aren't as monstrous as the angels, and they're very cool, and they look very cool, and they're like animal-like in a lot of ways, and I just love them a lot. Even though some of them are creepy and not good, but most of them are pure, and I love them. Speaking of pure, my favorite fantasy creature, probably, if I had to choose one that I wanted to like have, would be Temeraire from Temeraire by Naomi Novik. This is a series about dragons, and in here the dragons can talk, communicate, and they're like talking cat dogs, and I love them. Temeraire is the sweet, sweet baby, and I'm actually soon going to read the second book in the series. I know some of you have been like bugging me about it. Story of my life with people telling me to read things and me just like not having time to. But if I could have any creature, it would be this particular dragon. Not any dragon. I want a dragon that can talk back to me and understand and be like a little cat dog. Not the scary dragons that would probably kill me if given the opportunity. Like the dragons in Game of Thrones. Because I love them, and they're also like giant cats, but also like they started messing things up and they started to be scary. So Temeraire would never do that to me, and it's why I appreciate him the mostest. So that is it for some of my favorite science fiction and fantasy creatures. Comment below, let me know some of your favorites. I didn't include Harry Potter characters and creatures because you guys know how I feel about talking about Harry Potter stuff all the time. Speaking of creatures, my own cat is deciding to jump into an Amazon box while I'm trying to sign this off. Thank you. Thank you. Really appropriate. Very on theme. So yeah, besides the ones that we like all know about, comment down below and some of your favorites and like which series have really awesome creatures in them, because it's just something I really enjoy and I want to see more of. It just helps the world building in my opinion. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye.